Hi, everybody. Welcome to Am I the Asshole podcast. I'm Danny Vega, joined by my lovely, lovable co-host, Sarah Levine. Sarah, how are you today?
Well, it's been a weird day. I feel like as we established for our lovely Patreon listeners.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. We love to see it. People come in. We're giving the juice. But yeah, I mean, are you going to tell everyone what happened to you, or is it on lock?
Whatever. I'm pretty sure my identity was stolen.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, that's it.
How can I know if you're the real Sarah? Dun, dun, dun.
I know, right?
That's scary. Well, I'm sorry that's happening to you. What an unnerving thing to happen. You know, you get
It's just crazy because,
and...
I don't know how this happened. And, I feel like I'm really good with my passwords. And I just genuinely don't know how this happened.
Yeah, we need to figure out a password solution. That's good that you're good with it. But I'm always like, I'm so tired. And then there's some websites that are like, you can't reuse an old password. And I'm like, don't disrespect me. I don't remember anything else.
I know. It's like disrespect, but it's also like you're giving me way too much credit for the passwords you think I recall.
And then I've tried to use the password managers, and they're a headache because there's so many devices. It's Chrome on the computer and the phone, and then you're on your iPad.
Yeah.
Just, ugh.
I don't even trust. There's those services that they automatically regurgitate random passwords for you, and I don't trust that because then if that gets hacked, you're beyond fucked.
Yeah, like Chrome saving your password. Well, mine always remembers the wrong password, and then I'll enter it. It's like, what's your favorite animal? As a security question. Then Chrome's like, oh, so the password's dog. And I'm like, you're an idiot. Can you not read? It's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess my juice is I started seeing the crush again. It's actually going pretty well. I think we just had to shake off some, some past relationship stuff, and we just had to do a clean slate. But things have been really smooth, so it's been super fun. We got a nice din at a Japanese place here in Williamsburg. Huge fan. Rule of thirds. Absolutely fantastic food.
That's great.
You know what I ate was the heart of a duck, and it was kind of brutal. It's a skewer with 4 duck hearts on it, and you're
wow.
like, dang.
Wait, where was this place?
It's right by McCarran Park, a couple blocks over, but it's just 4 duck hearts on a skewer. Forget 2 birds with one stone.
Okay.
This is 4 ducks with 1 skewer, people. All right. But yeah, duck heart actually isn't that good. The pork jowl, which I think is pretty much the cheek of a pig, that slapped,
Mm-hmm.
I
thought the jowls were your double chin area.
That's a good. You know what? I meant to look up a diagram. I thought we concluded it was a cheek. Let me see. Jowl, the lower part of a person's or an animal's cheek, especially when it's fleshy or drooping. So it appears that I don't know now. Are we
both right?
Pig jowl. Let's see. What's a jowl on a pig? Yeah, no, you're oh my God, you're 1,000,000% right. But actually, we're both right because we wouldn't think of our neck, underneath our neck, as a cheek, but it low key is on a pig, kind of. If you look at a pig's face, because a pig's cheeks are the size of a whole human head. But You're right. It's basically eating the double chin. That's hilarious.
Wow, that's cool.
I'm straight up eating a pig's obesity, people.
Love that.
So good. So good. Anyway, I could talk about things I've eaten for ages. I think we're ready to do this thing. Guys, look, Sarah and I have had a tough week. We're sorry. We don't have Guess the Verdict this week. We'll be back next week. We're going to hit it hard. We're both, I have a stomach sickie today, and Sarah had her identity stolen. We're just hot messes.
Yeah, truly a mess.
Let's do this thing. Our second story of the day, AITA for leaving in an Uber after what my husband did at the restaurant. But first, would I be the asshole if I tell my parents that an assistant baseball coach came and drank with my friends and I? Ooh,
oh boy.
I like it. Oh boy, a 17-year-old with all the news that's been happening. Anyway, here we go.
Oh yeah, I'm not even caught up, so yeah.
I'm a 17-year-old junior in high school. I play on the baseball team. I'll call the assistant coach in question Mike. Mike, he's 23, graduated college in 2020. This is his first year as an assistant coach on our team. Michael also went to high school here as well. We're from a small rural town, a very small town, he says. And they take big pride in our 1A high school sports. For some background, Mike was a pitcher, probably one of the best athletes we've had in our town in like 30 years. Everyone knew Mike's name, and it was a huge deal when he went off to pitch at a D2 college because at a school like ours, there might be a kid or two good enough to play a D3 sport in every grade, but that's it. So Mike is almost a local celebrity in this small town. Friday night, some of my teammates and I and some girls from our grade went to a bonfire at my friend Joe's house. You love a bonfire, people. Yes, we had a case of beer and a bottle of Fireball. Whoa. But Joe's parents were out of town, so it was chill. Joe, another teammate I'll call Steve, were all giddy and excited for some reason, but wouldn't tell us. At about 10:30 p.m., guess who fucking walks in the yard? It's assistant coach Mike with a 12-pack. Joe and Steve were hyped, but the rest of us just exchanged awkward glances. He wasn't outright creepy or weird, but it was just strange that he would come by. I guess Joe invited him. He just talked to us about school, teachers, how things have been since he graduated, etc. Like I said, he didn't act problematic, but it was still creepy. Joe always gets too drunk and goes to bed early. He went to bed around 12, but Mike stayed well past 1, sitting there with the rest of us. And to top it off, he was like the next drunkest one there.
Oy.
I told some teammates about telling my parents because it made me uneasy, and I don't think you should be doing that. But they flipped and said I cannot say anything to anyone, since if the school found out, we would end up getting in trouble for underage drinking and maybe kicked off the team, AITA.
Yikes. What did you say? Yikes-a-roni. No, that's not what you said the last time, but...
Yikesy McYikerton.
That? Oh, this guy's a big Yikesy McYikerton.
Absolutely,
I just
bro.
I can't imagine wanting to hang out with teenagers, especially high school students, as a 23-year-old. Also, I just feel like being the drunkest person there is extra embarrassing. Because, like, you can legally drink, bro. Hold it together.
So the defense I was ready to mount for Mike before that detail was like, all right, fine, he is 23 and they're 17, but they have a commonality. They're baseball players. He's a local celeb, so, like, his presence is exciting to people, and he can wield that responsibly. Obviously, it is inappropriate, but come on, Mike grew up in the town, so he knows that he was drinking when he was 17. He knows the culture of the town. If he showed up to the party and had a couple beers, I would be like, yeah, that's like, you probably shouldn't, bro. Like, I just would avoid that. Definitely don't make a habit of it, but, you know, no harm, no foul. But then showing up and getting blasted, it's like, you're insane. That shows me a lack of judgment. That shows me that he would try to hook up with one of the girls there. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like, why are you trying to party with these kids?
Exactly.
It's not good.
Sam N, YTA, definitely a little weird, but anyone deserves the opportunity to make it right on their own. If I were you, I'd talk to Mike privately with your concerns. Depending on how that combo goes, you can decide what to do next. I think
like,
that is
I feel like that's a great idea in theory, but in practice, like, how is this going to go with this bizarre, I don't see that going well. I understand why this teenager would be too intimidated to bring it up with the coach directly, and I don't think that he or she should have to.
I think it's a tactically savvy move. I don't think it's mandated, but here's the risk factor I see. Here's the risk factor I see, Sarah. He goes to his parents. His parents are like, that's completely unacceptable. We're taking that to the school. And he's like, no, don't. And they're like, sorry, you told us this. This is inappropriate. We are obligated to tell the school. They tell the school. Mike gets fired. Everyone hates OP. Now, even though he drank and I don't like it, I think it's inappropriate. I think that it is judicious for the teenager to go to Mike directly in this case, because who knows, maybe he will be receptive and it will save him some potential guilt if Mike were to be fired for this. And maybe Mike will get the message and be like, you know what, you're right, and bail. I think you're right that it probably won't go that way, but this is a good little kind of insurance for OP potentially.
I see that. Yeah, like, the thing is, like, I see it, but I'm just feeling like realistically, OP is already intimidated by this person. And I mean, I know I wouldn't have the balls to approach them directly to be like, hey, I felt this was inappropriate. So I don't know.
It's a toughie. Chelsea V.
Like, I definitely think the right thing to do is to contact their parents. I think it could potentially blow up in OP's face, which is the only reason I'm sort of like thinking about what other options there are. It's not because, like, I don't think this guy deserves to get fired. It's because I just, don't want negative consequences for OP.
Exactly. He does deserve to get fired. I think
Yeah.
this is absolutely a fireable offense. You provided alcohol to minors, you're
Yeah,
out.
boom, that's it.
This isn't baseball, Mike. This is a school. So I guess what I feel is, ultimately, and we also have to play in the fact that this is a small town, so OP potentially faces the wrath of the whole town.
Oh, no.
He's a narc. I can just see this playing out very poorly. So I think
can
Mike
too, but through no fault of OP's own.
No, absolutely not. Whisper M writes, NTA, a grown man has no business hanging out with teenagers and getting drunk with them in his off time. Big agree there.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And why do you want to, man?
Oh my God, Reddit going a completely different angle. Top comment.
Yeah, this is why I'm shocked. Pretty much all of our Facebook was like NTA, 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 big time.
Well, this is good news. I thought this was an open and shut case, so let's get some juice in here, baby. Polyester atrocity, top Reddit comment. Everyone here is the asshole. You shouldn't be drinking. The coach shouldn't be drinking with you. If the school gets wind of this, and they probably will, you're all screwed. I'm a teacher, and we deal with athletes doing stupid things, but throw in a coach, and somebody's going to face the music, and it won't be a tune anyone likes. This is a boomer. I'm ready to open their profile right now and prove that they're a boomer.
Yeah, I mean, it's so dumb.
That is so corny.
Yeah, to put like the kids who are drinking underage on the same level as the grown-ass adult who is in a position of power over them all, who supplied them with alcohol and also is drunk. All right.
Yeah. Wow, polyester atrocity has some real bombs here.
Oh, yeah?
Negative 114 points on a recent comment. AITA for leaving the delivery room temporarily during the birth of our baby.
Oof.
Wow, we'd have to get into the whole thing to understand why this comment is so terrible, but people.
But it was the top one.
No, I mean the one who worked on the other thread. On this one, yeah, I mean, obviously it's wrong. He's equating the two things, and then what set me off into Boomer Town was this stupid phrase: "Somebody's going to face the music, and it won't be a tune anyone likes." It's like
the person facing the music is going to be the person doing the worst thing,
absolutely.
who's also has the job. What do you mean?
Teenagers shouldn't be drinking. Of course they shouldn't, but I don't think it makes them assholes to drink. Who among people? Everyone drinks when they're young. In other countries, it's legal. It's
forget it.
Make you an asshole. It can make you an asshole, of course. Redditor 191389. It's weird that a 23-year-old was hanging out with teens, but it does sound like he was invited and was polite the entire evening.
Polite but drunk.
Yes.
So also, part of me is like, how drunk do you have to be visibly drunk to a teenager who's drinking?
Seriously. The comment goes on, your friends are right. You got to weigh up whether your place on the team as well as your friend's place is worth telling your parents about this versus perhaps just asking the team to not invite him again. No assholes here, but honestly, I think it'd be better taking this to our advice. Well, I don't disagree with that, but
I agree that it needs a more nuanced approach of advice versus am I the asshole for doing this or not? Because I don't think so, but I do understand from a real world ramifications perspective, wanting to maybe get some other options that aren't going to result in people just being addicted to OP for the wrong reasons.
Yep. Book Reader 1328. Wow. Big flex with your username. So Mike was a big fish in a small pond, then went off to college and couldn't make a pro thing happen. So he's returned home where he can be relevant and is hanging out with high school boys who will worship him. This is unfortunately all too common, but not remotely acceptable. Not the asshole. That's pretty on point.
Yeah.
Oh, a dissenter. STFU, Karen. Are you American?
Love it.
This sounds really American. What's the big deal? I'm sorry it made you uncomfortable and that sucks and stuff, but telling parents is extreme. Anyway, ESH.
Boo. That's a boo.
Well, okay, if this was in Europe, the sins would be very different than what is
that's the thing. If it was in Europe, this guy wouldn't be doing anything illegal.
Yep.
It would still be kind of weird. I mean, it's because he's their assistant coach. So I think that's a little bit weird. And also the fact that he was the biggest one there. The drunkest one there. Sorry, I was rereading the situation as I was talking.
He was the second drunkest one there.
Sorry, the second drunkest.
I don't know, Sarah. That comment is doing damage to me.
Really?
if this was set in Europe, all things being equal, would he be the asshole? I would say no, it was weird and inappropriate. But actually, that still wouldn't make OP. That would just switch me
I don't think it would make OP the asshole for telling your parents.
No, it wouldn't. It would switch me to no assholes here. But I think the fact that it is illegal in this country is necessarily part of the context. Because you know what? He is showing the kids that he's fine with just straight up breaking the law. And that might be the norm in this rural community, but it's still not okay.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, yeah, if this was Europe, I would say maybe just approach all your friends before you try to like approach him or get the parents involved. But that's also, I guess, because it's not as big of an infraction. Right.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that context is part of it. That's part of the behavior going on here. I guess that would switch me, and that's kind of hurting my head a little bit. I'm like, well, if this would be fine in Europe, then what really is the sin? But
I mean, we're not in Europe, so
yeah, they're not in Europe, so it's not like it. So
I mean, that doesn't change it in America for me. Like, do I think the drinking age is ridiculous? Yeah, but that it is what it is, and like, I don't know. I also feel like the whole culture around drinking is different there because of the drinking age. So I don't know. It's not.
That's a good point. I don't think it's people
comparable.
They're more mild. They're more moderate drinkers.
Yeah.
All right.
And you're not. And being in the presence of someone who's drinking isn't automatically going to make you uncomfortable.
Very true. Very true. All right, well, I think we agree on this. Would it be the asshole if I tell my parents that an assistant baseball coach came and drank with my friends and I? We agree, not the asshole, and Mike is.
Yes.
R.I.P. Mike. He was a great pitcher, though. What was he? I forgot. AITA for leaving in an Uber after what my hubby did at the restaurant. Me, 31F, husband, 35M, have been married for 14 months. He's a middle school teacher, close to his family, loves to help out, but can be firm at times. Interesting. That's a weird sentence.
That doesn't make any sense.
He loves to help out, but he can be firm.
I will help you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm being firm on this.
Yeah. He adores his 1.2-year-old niece.
Stop.
Is that real? They really...
Stop.
I
really copied and pasted it.
They really did that. I have to see how this... They literally wrote it, people. They actually wrote 1.2 years old. This is crazy.
I'm bad at math, so how long is that?
It's 1/5 of a year, which is what, 2 months or something? 2 months and change. Ridiculous.
How did they even get to 1.2? I'm mad.
I'm mad. This is crazy. How many situations have we done? We've never seen a crime like that. I'm ready to YTA them right now for this.
Right? You weren't the only one.
Exhausting. He adores his 1.2-year-old niece, his sister's baby. He always babysits whenever he's got nothing to do. I help with whatever I can. We haven't gotten out for a nice dinner in a while. I asked if we could go out to a new restaurant and try their food and have a good time together. He agreed. I immediately made a rezo and took care of everything. Since I couldn't take the day off, I left work early and went to meet him there at the restaurant. I walked in and saw my husband sitting and his niece in a car seat by the table. I asked, and he said his sister had work and wanted him to watch his niece. His family were going out of town, so there was no one else beside him. I noticed the restaurant staff were giving us looks since it's not a child-friendly restaurant, and I was worried the baby would cry or something. She was asleep at this point. We ordered our meals while he was calming his niece down because she was crying out loud. He kept asking the waitress about stuff they don't have for this niece. I couldn't take the looks from people unable to enjoy their meals because of the noise husband's niece was making, especially when he started singing You're Welcome from Moana movie while swinging her. I got up to the restroom.
Isn't it Moana?
I have no idea. A few minutes later, I heard him arguing loudly. I went to see that he was actually trying to change his niece's diaper on the table. I don't know if this is real. I don't know if this is real. He can't be that crazy. I don't know if I buy this. The waitress was arguing with him. I was in shock. The manager came after my husband, said he'd take a minute to get it done. The manager spoke to me and asked me to leave eventually. I was livid. We left and I blew up outside, asked my husband why at the table while people were eating. I guess that's what they meant, that he could have told me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have picked a restaurant that doesn't allow infants. He embarrassed me, ruined dinner, and got us kicked out. He started arguing with me like I was one of his students after I refused to get in the car, giving me 0 out of 10 for my reaction and claiming I picked a bad restaurant. Okay, I officially hate him more. Said that he was helping his sister, and I needed to understand that. After the argument, I took an Uber and went home. He went to his sister's place and called saying I shouldn't have left like that and make him feel guilty for wanting to help, but I didn't respond. AITA.
Eek. Oh. I'm having and hawing. Oh God. I still can't. I'm still not over the 1.2 years thing.
You're still there. Wow, you're still there.
Still there, and I'm still there on changing the niece on the table. Like, what barn were you raised in that is like your first thought?
It's the thing is, it's
The smell,
so
man. The smell
inept.
alone.
It's so wildly inept that I almost don't believe it. But we got to play it as it lays here.
Right.
I mean, look, the only thing I can say for the husband is at some point he was being merely a bumbling idiot. You know,
Right.
He was being thoughtless as well, right? Because he included the baby on a date without asking her. That's obviously not a date. That's ridiculous. You know, come on. You were going out for a nice dinner. That's a date with your wife.
Yeah, and
So-
it's fucked up to like kind of sideline your wife just so you can help, and also not tell her.
Yeah, and I could give him an asshole just for that, frankly.
Yeah.
But then what really kills me about him is he's a bumbling idiot. And you know what? I could even give him a pass. I would say it is a man. I mean, you got to be some kind of really, like were you raised in a barn style to think it's appropriate to change a child at a table. But listen, he fits the profile, right? He's already bringing
Yeah,
an
right. He
infant
already
to-
is fitting the bumbling idiot profile.
Yeah, he brought the infant to a restaurant that didn't allow. It's like he's clearly not very oriented. And you know what? He has this kind of childlike thing, and that surfaces when he gives her reaction a 0 out of 10 and then claims she picked a bad restaurant. It's like, this is a middle schooler.
How did that even play? They were arguing, and he's like, you know what? 0 out of 10, I don't recommend.
I
What
don't
is this?
understand. Is this
What
like
are
a
they verbally
tactic?
rating each other?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe this is something he does to students to grade their little like interactions or something.
That
but
also feels bad, but okay.
yeah, you're right. You're right. That's not good. Like, oh, you gave me an 8 out of 10. Like,
Yeah, unless this is not an oral presentation, you know, like
it's crazy.
that's so bizarre.
Whisper M, you both suck for trying to make a non-child inclusive dinner work instead of suggesting other options immediately once known the child would be with you.
Nah, that's
So-
not fair. Like the wife
That's
got
not fair.
bamboozled, and it's not on her to salvage the dinner that she already kind of did all the prep for.
Absolutely. She was bamboozled and she was ambushed, right? Because doesn't she
Bamboozled.
learn doesn't she learn about the niece when she gets to the restaurant? When does she learn about the niece? Yeah, she meets him at the restaurant, walks in and sees him sitting there with the niece.
Yeah, like come on.
Come on,
What was
that's
she
not
supposed
on
to
her.
then go and just like go on her phone and make a reservation somewhere? That's not fair.
It's ridiculous. Ariana M, NTA, so it's great that he wants to help, but he should inform you about it if it's literally going to be on a date. Also, whether it's a family-friendly restaurant or not, you don't change the kiddo at the table.
Yeah, I
Nikki
mean,
C.
you're not doing that at a Fridays. Like, no, it doesn't matter where it is.
Yeah, no, that's unheard of. Nikki C, ESH, including the restaurant. If it wasn't a child-friendly place, why didn't they tell them that when he got there? That way you could have
Don't
found
think that's
somewhere
like
else to eat.
legal.
Why would he think it's okay to change a child on a restaurant table? That's gross. And OP just acted like a petulant child refusing to get in the car. Jesus, that baby sounds like the most grown-up one in this entire situation. Man, people are really coming for OP. I'm not on
Yeah,
board.
I don't get why.
Yeah, I agree with you on... I think it is legal for a restaurant to ask you to leave if you brought a child. I think there's such
I
a
think
thing as
if the kid is causing a disruption, then it's fine. But I don't think I wouldn't know, I guess. But
you legally
I've never
can.
heard of you walking in with the kid and then being like, no, you're not
you
allowed.
You can legally ask someone to leave your establishment merely because you don't like them, as long as it's not because of one of the reasons that would make them a protective class. It's a private establishment. You're allowed to have whatever reason you want. besides the protected class reasons like race and disability and all these things. But I'll tell you why a restaurant wouldn't anyway, because here's the headline.
Looks bad.
Local restaurant makes man with baby leave. Like, it's potential press damage. It's a potential bad look. It could make a scene.
Even just with the other customers, like no one would just take that, lying
Yes.
down. They would argue.
Exactly. And so they're like weighing their options. They're like, all right, do we tell this guy to leave, or do we have a baby that's sleeping? Let's go baby that's sleeping. So they're in an awkward situation as well. And we're speaking about the restaurant abstractly, but like, let's break down who's there. It's like servers and the manager. So like, if the manager happens to be there right there, like supervising, that's a call he's going to make. And it's like, yeah, well, this is going to be disruptive to do this. So he opts, no, that doesn't make him an asshole. I think that's a reasonable decision.
Yeah.
Duncan M, NTA, but you married a complete asshole. Anyone who thinks it's acceptable to change a diaper on a restaurant table seems to me like an alien impersonating a human after doing very little research.
That is so funny.
It's such
like I'm going to have to use that for something.
I love that. It's just such a jackass move that you're like, damn, bro, like, where you been? And then the way he talks to his wife is also like completely unacceptable. And then does he refuse?
Yeah, to be like, we're
Yeah.
doing this, and you have a problem, and you need to understand it.
It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Amy L says YTA for saying the baby is 1.2 years of age, and hubby is the asshole for several reasons, too many to list. So I think they mean ESH, but I guess they're joking. Carrie J, F that guy, how insensitive and clueless. NTA here. As a mother, myself, and former server, you don't change diapers at the table. What's wrong with him?
Question we are all asking.
Is this even serious? This dissenter, this is insane. KR writes, definitely the a-hole. Stick by your husband's side and defend him as he should you. When you get home, then discuss how things should go differently. You abandoned him in a rough situation.
Nah. I can see the argument of like not causing a public, what's the word that I'm thinking of? I don't know.
Scene?
Fight. Scene. Yeah. I can see that, but it's kind of like, wait, what did she say at the end again? Because he did that same thing to her. He put her in a bad situation, and she left him in this bad situation that was of his own making.
I don't even think she did.
I mean, I don't think it was a bad situation, but I think if you're viewing it that way.
No.
Then
I think they had escaped the bad situation. They were outside. OP says, he started arguing me like I was one of his students after I refused to get in the car. She's like, yeah.
So they're outside. Okay, then who cares?
Yes. She didn't even abandon him. That's ridiculous.
No.
She said, like, I'm not fucking with you anymore. You blew our date. This was a nightmare. And I don't want to be I want to be separate from you right now. I want space. That's 1,000,000% in her rights. That comment is ridiculous. Brian G. Oh, this is a hot take, people. ESH. OP clearly has problems with his child in general, calling her my husband's niece. You're married. The child is your niece as well. Ooh, that's not crazy.
It's not.
It feels to me
but like maybe she just said that for clarification purposes.
It's true. That's like a micro analyzation. I'm not really on board for it. He's such a bumbling idiot. I trust OP. Well, why? I don't know if I can trust OP when I'm like, why are you married to this complete imbecile? Surely this is not his first.
If people didn't get married to imbeciles, we wouldn't have a podcast because there would be no subreddit.
That's true. Well, people didn't get married to, there'd be no subreddit. I wouldn't. My father would be would be running the earth alone.
Oh my God! Ouch.
No, we bag on my dad. It's a classic bit. Brian G says, it feels like to me you resent how much your husband helps with your niece in general, so you pick this outrageous scenario to get validation, but yes, the husband is the asshole as well.
It was an outrageous scenario because the husband was being outrageous. It's not like she made a mountain out of a molehill, in my opinion.
I mean, it's almost so ridiculous that I could kind of get on board because I'm like, you got to be like, honestly, it's like, can you really, the lack of empathy to change a baby? I guess if it's just piss, I could see myself potentially entertaining the idea. If it was poopy diaper, then no way.
Well,
come on.
yeah, because I'm like, if this was a poopy diaper, it would smell immediately. but it still wouldn't be okay.
I think it's the first time we've ever said the words poopy diaper on the podcast.
I think so.
It kind of took you a second. I felt there was like, you were like, am I going to say it? Then you're like, I'm going to fucking say it.
Yep. I'm just like, here we go.
Tomamo Heim, top Reddit comment. NTA, who changes a baby at a table, not in a restroom? Why does he act like his niece is his kid and bring her everywhere, especially when it's clear you're trying to have some time with just you and your husband? He embarrassed you, tried to make you feel guilty for picking a nice restaurant when you were under the assumption to have a nice dinner. You need to have some serious talks with your husband and your sister-in-law regarding boundaries and childcare, because it's 100% not okay. I mean, this is about the husband. You don't need to loop in the sister-in-law. This was his ineptitude. He brought a baby on a date. Yeah. That's not her fault.
I mean, it seems like the husband has to say no to the sister-in-law on babysitting.
Yeah. If she was like forcing him, I could be on board for that.
Yeah, but like it seems kind of also that he is just as fine to sacrifice his marriage for this babysitting. So, you know, like I don't even know if he needed to be pushed.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy is a kook. This guy's a maniac. I don't know what his problem is, but I don't like him, and I give him a 0 out of 10. Got him, AITA, for leaving in an Uber after what my husband did at the restaurant. I think we agree wholeheartedly. Not the asshole and the husband is.
Yes.
People, we're going to wrap up here on this. AITA for not claiming my farts on a road trip with my friends. This is a very poopy episode. It's funny. I usually avoid these matters, being a classy man myself, but here we are.
I liked the submission. I thought it was interesting and funny.
I'm excited for it. On the very first road trip I ever took, 3 of my friends and I drove to Cali for a week. It was great. First time I saw the beach, ate a bunch of really good food, did some fooling around with a guy I met on the trip. You know the vacation. Hat trick. So is OP a woman? I'm assuming, but that's a bit heteronormative me. I own it. On the day
you don't think girls fart?
No, because I was inferring that from they fooled around with a guy. Hence, yeah.
I see. Oh, yeah, so it's heteronormative to assume OP is female.
Exactly.
Sure.
On the day we had to leave, I was having some tummy issues. Little backstory on me. I'm extremely gassy. This is a well-known fact of all my friends.
We did not need that backstory.
As I always claim, if I let one slide out. But sometimes on the rare occasion I will have gas. It doesn't really smell, so if no one says, what stinks, I might not say anything. So on the way back, 2 of the girls are up front while the third friend and I are in the back. I let a silent one go. No one says anything, and I don't smell anything, so I think I'm good. 5 or 10 minutes later, I let another one fly, still not smelling anything. The 2 girls up front start commenting on how something smells funny.
Oh, no.
Wow, I already have my verdict. Before I can pipe in, the friend next to me says, I don't smell anything, so now I'm just a little baffled and not totally sure what they smell is me. The girls ask if I'm passing gas, and I say no, because now I'm curious as to what is going on. Oh, this is literal gaslighting. We fucking did it, people.
Literal gaslighting. Oh,
there
my God.
I let this go on for 2 hours, gathering evidence and occasionally passing gas. OP! Stop
2
farting.
hours, OP. You did not need 2 hours.
That's so much farts.
For your experiment.
OP goes on. And yes, every time they smelled something, it correlated with a fart. But the 2 of us in the back could not smell it. Oh, my God.
Okay, so.
Oh, my God.
This is insane. Okay.
The 2 girls up front start getting really upset and started asking if the 2 of us in the back are up to something. The friend next to me, who has no idea what is going on, keeps defending us both and reaffirming that we don't smell anything. At that point, I burst out laughing because I couldn't hold on to the secret anymore. And I was also really entertained by the absurdity of a fart vortex that was keeping the smell up at the front of the car.
Why is that her conclusion and not your friend next to you has a problem with smell?
Yeah, seriously.
A fart vortex? Sorry, I'm screaming about this in my apartment. My roommate's probably like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's a fart portal. It's a fart portal. No.
Oh my God.
Jenny, your friend is taking heart medication and can't smell. if we were talking about my dad. Anyway, the friend beside me was a little miffed, but also thought it was hilarious and really crazy how this was happening. The two up front didn't speak to me for the rest of the trip, so AITA for this fart vortex science experiment. Update, these friends still talk to me, and this is one of their favorite stories to tell people. They also want us to plan a reunion trip. Well, at least you fucking own it was a validation post. At least you just said it at the end. Oh, it's one of their favorite stories. Okay, well, this isn't What's Your Favorite Story podcast, OP.
That was like, okay, this is no worse than the guy with the hoarding that we did last week. So, you know what?
Oh, that guy. No. Oh,
that guy literally just told us a story. That was it. There was no conflict. Like, nobody was mad about it.
I want to go to dinner with that guy and this OP, and they'll fart, and the OP will be like, yeah,
oh my God, not the farts.
Trash. And I'll be like, I ran today, and we'll be the worst 3 people eating together.
Great.
And then I'll
Love
change. Baby. Whisper M writes, I hate farts so much, and even I say, no assholes here. Auntie and no assholes here. You cleared the air. LOL. Oh,
okay,
boy.
but not 4 hours. The 2 hours is excessive. It would be one thing if she farted like 2 more times to see what was up, but it's like, you kept doing it? You had your answer 2 hours ago.
Like, it's a bad bit at that point. But I think OP, OP, you think we don't smell what you're cooking here? We smell your farts, and you threw in this bullshit line, oh, they didn't talk to me for the rest of the trip. Yes, they did. Yes, they did, OP.
It also seemed like the trip was over. It was a road trip, and they were in the car on the way back.
Oh, that was the way back. Okay, no, then I believe it. Oh, I misunderstood. I thought they were on the way there. I mean,
oh, my God. That would be criminal.
This is a much better bit to do on the trip home.
Yeah. If you do it on the way there, they're going to call you some kind of fart-based nickname for the rest of the trip.
I know. Farty Jenny. I mean, look, I will say there is a crime here, and I'm going to come at girl culture. I'm assuming this is a group of gals, right?
It does sound like that.
Sounds like that. So I think in guy culture, we know we fart. Sometimes it happens. We're eating horrible things. You know, you put the window down. You let that fart out, and it's over. You know, and that's because we're...
Yep.
Because it's a little open and honest, and we don't have fart shame, and it's just part of what it is. And then, it's gone. So, OP, you could have just opened the window and said, I'm sorry, I've got stomach issues, and that's that.
I know. That really is it. This fucking fart vortex is so funny.
I mean, being stuck in a fart in a car, like,
Yo,
low-key...
I'd be pissed. For 2 hours?
Yo, do it once, do it twice, fine, you fucked up. But then if it's a pattern after that, OP, you are the asshole. If you thought that we weren't going to come for you just because this is a classic story.
It's so funny, but no.
It's gross. That is gross. That's not a good bit. It was a good bit. Okay, fine. I'll give you 5 farts is a good bit. 2 hours of farting?
2 hours of farts is like way beyond.
It's disrespect. That's
like,
disrespect.
Come on.
It's gross. A fart.
Am I laughing? Yes.
It's poop filtered air, you freak.
Ew.
Your friends are freaks, and you're... I'm just kidding.
No, but like, come on. You went too far.
You went
and
too
you got to
far.
ask your friend if she has COVID. Like, why can't she smell?
Yeah, seriously. It probably gave her COVID from your nasty farts, OP, you little freak. Oh, man. This is a classic. I love it. AITA for not claiming
I love it too.
It's very funny. AITA for not claiming my farts on a road trip with my friends. I think we do agree. YTA. Absolutely.
Yeah, come on. You are the literal asshole. Like, I'm sorry. And I'm not even trying to be mean. It's factual.
I mean, this OP gave us a lot. A literal gaslight. That's very rare. And
so true. Oh my God.
A literal asshole. Look at that. Look at that.
I kind of love it.
Aren't you special? And I know OP's gonna be like, guys, we have to listen. We have to listen. The fart story is on. And I know then they're as soon as I'm gonna read the situation, and then they're all gonna look at each other and be like, oh my God, that's not what happened. It was 4 hours. Like, there's gonna be a whole
4 hours
commotion.
of farts. No fucking way.
Oh man. This is a fun friend group, but nonetheless, OP, you're the asshole. Well, guys, it's a little bit of a short ep today, but I hope you enjoyed it, and much love for you, and we'll rate, review, and subscribe. We appreciate that. Join us on Yield, patreon.com/AITA pod.
Yes.
We love it. And we'll see you next Monday morning. Bye.
Bye.